Is climate change making you anxious or even depressed? Well, you're not alone. Covering all these stories has had an impact on me too.
Eco anxiety has a lot to do with concerns that people have about whether they'll be safe, whether they'll be able to sustain the kinds of storms and other natural disasters that are occurring with much more frequency, and really existential concerns about our future and the future of our children and their children.
Approximately 67% of Americans have some level of anxiety when it comes to the impact of climate change on the future of our planet. So, to learn more about steps we can take to cope with what's come to be known as eco-anxiety, I spoke to Mitch Prinstein, the Chief Science Officer at the American Psychological Association. Step 1. Get informed. If you feel like you're overwhelmed with bad news about the future of our planet, I get it. There's a lot out there. But it's important to know that some of what is out there might be alarmist or just inaccurate. So the best thing you can do is try and look for the correct information.
There's a lot of misinformation out there about climate change and the science behind it, but we really have to be very careful about what information we're reading, what's the source of that information, and are we talking about science, or is it a piece that might be trying to be more alarmist and trying to get us emotionally to respond?
Like Mitch said, try to cross-reference the information you're getting or rely on trusted sources that are backed by scientific evidence. It also helps to just read past the headline and the first paragraph of an article, a video, or a study. Reading up on issues and learning about them from different perspectives can help you better understand the impact they have on your life. Step 2. Process your feelings. Let me just start by saying that your feelings are valid, but according to Mitch, all in moderation.
The other things we can do is really talk with others about whether our anxieties are starting to feel a little bit disproportionate to the situation. Although this deserves tremendous attention, it might not be something that we have to be so anxious about that it's impairing our ability to function every single day.
Seeking professional help can be beneficial if your feelings start to get a little overwhelming, but initiating therapy can be hard and it takes courage. Speaking from past experience, therapy can be expensive, inaccessible, or just a wild goose chase trying to find the right therapist for you. In any case, you can always build your own support group with friends, family, and other like-minded people that can help you get through tough moments. Step number 3, making impacts, large or small. If talking about your feelings is not doing it for you, you can also try to do something about the issue at hand. Try turning some of that anxiety into action.
What are the ways in which we can make big impacts? So changing our house to have solar panels for our hot water probably is going to do a lot more than recycling 100 bottles. So really thinking about what are the ways to invest that energy into really big, impactful change.
That being said, do not be discouraged to start small. Look for local programs in your community that help the planet. Things like beach cleanups and tree planting programs. Or you can even do more personal things like reducing your own carbon footprint at home. But don't try to take on the world because it could lead to burnout. Analyze what's feasible and just take it from there. Even if it's not that much of an impact you're creating, you are still doing something, which could help you feel better about the state of the world. Step number 4, support young people. If changing the way you live, whether it's the way you eat or the transportation you take, is not possible, then you can always advocate. Climate change, much like everything else, affects people disproportionately, specifically people of color.
There are some people who don't have the opportunity to buy solar panels or can't move to another location. So there are people that are going to be more affected by climate change than others. And we need to recognize that this is an issue that plays into questions about disparities just as much as anything else. And I think we need to advocate and kind of work for not only what will be helpful for ourselves, but for other people who might not have the opportunities to make the changes that are, come easier to some folks when it comes to addressing climate change.
Thankfully, there are a lot of programs and young activists that are raising awareness and bringing these issues to the forefront.
We need to be listening to our young people. We need to be helping our young people find the way to turn their energy into real, meaningful change. And that's happening. That's happening in a great way. This is a time for us to be listening to young people, not telling them to wait in line.
And if you want to join the cause, you can always look for petitions to sign, places to donate, and information to share on social media. Good organizations to look up include the Sunrise Movement and Fridays for Future. It also helps holding brands and governments accountable when it comes to net zero targets and with any other climate initiative they might have, or put pressure on the companies that don't have any. Step number 5, don't stop living your life. Although the world might seem like it's ending, it's still spinning. So try not to let all the burden of the world fall on your shoulders, and keep enjoying the moments in life that bring you joy.
I think it's also really important for us to kind of recognize that there are some things we can control and there are some things that we can't. And if it's something important to us, we can do a lot in terms of advocacy and donations and really increasing awareness and having conversations with friends and neighbors on our social media. We don't want to react every day, all day, as if the sky is falling right now. A lot of what we're doing is prevention. So we do also want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves, living our lives, doing what we can, promoting, the best activity and information as we can, but also letting ourselves take a break from it sometimes and enjoying the here and now.
It might not always be easy to do it, but self-care is just as important as trying to mitigate climate change. So let's try and relax, recharge, and go back to taking action.